Hey guys, how's it going? This is John here. So I want to talk a little bit about our current political situation um, and my journey through it a little bit. And yeah, and why I think you should vote Libertarian and why I'm voting Libertarian. So, first of all, I first started being able to vote in the 2012 election. Um, in that election, I didn't really give a shit. So the only thing I cared about was ending the war on drugs because I feel like that is just one of the most ridiculous, corrupt policies and battles our government has ever taken on. That just doesn't make any sense, and it's one of the things that hits closest to my heart, and I think that it needs to end. Um, so I voted for the Libertarian candidate in 2012. That's all I cared about. But I didn't really think too critically about everything else that's going on within our government. Um, so when this election rolled around, I started looking into the Republicans and Democrats and started really thinking about where they're coming from, since everyone seems to vote for them. It's like, why? What is it about them? What is it about these people that? What is it about the current political atmosphere in our country that lures and draws so many people into voting for these two parties when all I see is corruption? And so I started looking into all the candidates, and Bernie Sanders actually was a candidate that I felt like I could get behind and I could believe in, because his ideas he's got a lot of pretty cool ideas. There's not, I mean, it's hard to argue with, wanting to help other people, wanting to make sure people are taken care of, wanting to make sure they're not living in poverty, wanting to make sure, they have all the food they need and all their survival stuff, and that they have access to health care and all this and that. And I mean, those are great ideas. You're right. That's why I got behind him. That's why I wanted to support him. But the problem is, that's not the role of the government. And that started to really set in over the past couple of months as I went through the motions of all this political crap. And so one of the big things that stood out to me was the role of the government is very simple. It's to ensure and protect our freedom. It is not to babysit us. It's not to make sure everyone's doing okay and everyone's fed and all that. That's not the role of the government. Okay? You're not a man. You're not an adult. You're not a real person if you can't take care of yourself. I mean, come on. Seriously. We should all be able to sustain ourselves. And if you can't because you have some disability or whatever, somebody will be there for you. Family, friends, a church. There's something in place. It's just the way reality works. There will be something there for you that you can seek out, and that they will willingly help you on a personal level, face to face, because they love you and they care for you. But it's not the government's role to force everyone to pay money into a system that takes care of these people for them so that they don't have to get their hands dirty. Oh, I'll help people, but I don't want to touch them. I don't want to talk to them. Take my money. You deal with them. That's not the way that's just no. We're not going there. That's not a good system to have. Besides, leechers take full advantage of that system. Are you kidding me? Like, you go into a fucking building, talk to someone that doesn't give a shit about you, fill out a bunch of paperwork, bam, you get a bunch of money in food stamps. That doesn't build work ethic, that doesn't build personal relationship, that doesn't teach you how to sustain yourself. As the saying goes, give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, feed him for a lifetime. Okay. we should be helping people figure out how to help themselves rather than just feeding them. You know, I work 40 hours a day, busting my ass, building cabinets, lifting heavy shit. I see my own blood every single day. And 15% of my money goes to helping people that don't put in the effort, don't work for themselves. Most of them, the majority. I'm sure there are some of them that genuinely need the help because they made a lot of fucked up mistakes. A lot of life happened to them, accidents happen, whatever. Yeah, I get that. That happens. But there are programs, there are systems in place, there are churches, there are organizations, there are good people out there that they can reach out to that will help them get out of their shit and get them back on track. And we don't need the government forcing everyone else to spend all this money on shit that doesn't work. Because what happens is we end up spending more money on a broken system that promotes laziness and promotes leechers rather than taking the time to personally engage with people and move them along, help them get, sustained on their own without all this crazy amount of room for people to take advantage of a system. Because I won't let someone take advantage of me. I'll help them out. But if they want to keep trying to just leech off of me, I'll tell them to fuck off. And then they'll have to they'll have to figure it out the hard way. That's not a fun place to be. But, it is what it is. People shouldn't live off of the fruits of other people's backs forcefully. That's slavery. That's straight up slavery. And that's what Bernie Sanders is trying to support. His ideas are good, but he's perverting and twisting pure ideas into government control over people's lives and taxing people. And it's just not right. It's just not right. And this whole thing about the inequality gap, are you kidding me? The rich people will get richer, yes. The poor people aren't getting poorer, though. They're getting richer, too. They're just not as fast as the rich people. Everyone's getting richer. We are all creating and generating wealth. That's what you do as a human. You just make shit. Create shit. Put effort into shit, and it builds more shit. You know what I mean? You just build on your wealth. And that's just how economics works. It's not like there's a fixed amount of money in the world. There's new money being created and pumped into the economy. And all you got to do is put some effort into taking advantage of it. Make some shit that people like. And you'll get money. Get a job. If you don't want to be an entrepreneur, get a job. But it's in human nature to help people see people succeed. It's in human nature to take advantage of and exploit other people too. There's always going to be a balance of good and evil. But the one thing we don't want to do is when that evil starts getting a little big as far as like being selfish and not sharing your wealth and all that stuff goes. It's not, I wouldn't say necessarily evil. It's just you're being, selfish. You don't want to chase them down with pitchforks and knives and make them give you their money. Like, that's not right. They got that. They acquired that money through honest means, through making corporations and building all this shit. Like, I'll make a video on the details of economics if you really want to know. But the political world needs to stay the hell out of the economic world because they're two totally different things. The political world is there to protect and ensure that the economic world stays free. That's what it's supposed to do. It's not supposed to regulate the shit out of it to the point where, people are being forced to pay taxes on stupid stuff and people can go to jail or get fined for stupid stuff that is non-invasive and non-violent, Like, the government's become an invasive and violent entity against people that are just making an honest living. It's not right. So that's where, and that's a result of the Republican and Democrat occupancy in the government. They've allowed corporate interests to infest and corrupt political power. I mean, the government shouldn't be about political, or it shouldn't be about writing policy that promotes certain businesses or certain, you know, things. It should, that's not what its job is. Its job is to simply protect and ensure our freedoms. That means securing our borders. That means, you know, ensuring our rights. That means getting rid of all of these heinous acts like the war on drugs and treating lesbians and gay people with less dignity and respect than straight people because of sexual orientation. Who gives a fuck? Who gives a shit? Let them do what they do. Like, they're human beings. They're not hurting anyone by being gay. They're not invading anyone by being gay. Fucking let them be gay. Let them marry each other. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Who cares? Like, seriously. You know, I like women. I don't like being gay, but if someone else wants to be gay, I'm not against it, you know? Fuck it. It's not right to try to impose my ways of living on other people. It's just not right. You know? America is about freedom. It's not about equality. It's about equal opportunity, but it's not about equality. It's about freedom. Okay, if I put in effort, I'm going to get back what I put in. If I put in more effort than the Joe Schmo next to me, or if the guy above me puts in more effort than me, he's going to get more. That person's going to get less. That's not equality. We're all different. We're all unique. We all have something different to offer. I don't want to be the same as everyone, you know? Like, but I have equal opportunity to put effort in, to put as much or as little effort into something that I want to achieve, you know? And, I mean, seriously, the Libertarian Party just wants to get America back to its liberty roots. That's all it wants to do. Eliminate all of these crazy constraints on our freedom, like the war on drugs, like, you know, gay rights, like abortion. You know, abortion's fucked up. I'm totally against it, but it's the woman's body, should be the woman's choice. Politics should stay the hell out of it, between that woman and God, you know? Straight up, like, it's one of those things. Politics should not be in the way of, until that baby is out of that woman, that baby belongs to that woman completely. That baby is not its own entity until it leaves that uterus and that fucking umbilical cord is cut. Until then, it's up to the woman to decide. And I've been through that kind of shit, and it's not fun. It is one of the most emotionally powerful and hardcore things to go through, but it should not be a political issue. So, you know, there's all sorts of shit. Everything that the Libertarian Party has on all the issues, I completely agree with, 100%. You know, minimal government, minimal taxes, balancing the budget, keeping corporate interest the hell out of government. You know, the government should be a pure, solid entity that everyone understands. Keep it real simple, you know, Constitution guarantees these rights, the government protects these rights. If you know, fucking try and take away somebody else's right to do something, you're in violation of the law, and that's that, you know, like, don't physically harm anyone, don't invade anyone, don't steal anyone's shit. And then our tax dollars would just go to maintaining minimalistic government infrastructure. And I mean, shit, even infrastructure could be run by free market. As long as there is a demand for something, there will be a business entity to meet that demand. You know, and obviously, you know, infrastructure that we all use, like roads and schools, and even schools, it's kind of debatable. It could be free market. because yeah, who writes that shit anyway? Who writes the education? Like, we could just feel like innovation and ideas and new creation would happen more freely if it was in a free market rather than government regulated, you know. But even roads though, like roads, you know, everyone uses the roads, and so obviously tax money going to that makes sense. But it's just there should be very, very little taxing. Should be very little government involvement, and it should very rarely change. Very rarely. And when it does change, it should be a big fucking deal, and everyone should be a part of it, you know. It's not, there shouldn't be these crazy career politicians making all these rules all the time, writing all this policy for all these corporations and all these business interests to try and make more money and exploit the power of politics. Politics should be a very sacred, very pure entity that everyone understands and reveres, that nobody hates, you know, nobody mistrusts. And the only way to get to that point right now is to vote a Libertarian in office. I have completely lost faith in the Republican and Democratic parties. They're just total circus clowns. It's just a big joke at this point. So, that's where I'm at, you know? And I think that's where everyone should be at. All you burners out there that, you know, like I said, he raised a lot of really good points. But those are things that we should just do because we're good people, not because the government forces us to do them. And because as soon as you force it, it's not love if it's forced. That's the point. Bernie's trying to start this huge political revolution and putting love at the center of it, but you can't. Politics isn't about good and evil. It's about freedom. It's about protecting freedom. And, you know, you want to love someone, go love. Show them some love. You know? Just don't fucking kill them. Hurt them. And that is something that the government should keep. So that's my spiel. I'm going to make a video on economics too, because I feel like there's just so much confusion about that right now. It's driving me crazy. I feel like I feel like there's zombies everywhere, just like fucking just screaming and crying out to something to save them, and the only thing they can think of is the government because they're dumb. It's just sad. Like, people need to quit playing victim and take responsibility for their own lives. Start living like a smart, intelligent person and not try to cry to Big Brother every time something fucking goes wrong, you know? So, thanks for listening. That's all I got. Have a good night.